opportunity is one of the key issues that surrounds affordable housing. Why do I say this? We have an urban population in Kenya that is growing at a very high rate. And we also have a very high student population. Today, TVETs and TTIs, they are totaling to over 406,000 students, with over 560 students in our universities. Approximately only 10% of these students are living in the campuses, meaning most of our students are also living in areas that are not very comfortable, they are not adequate, and also they are very expensive. So making education to the parents very expensive, and also making living in areas where it does not allow the student to have an intellectual environment to study. So this is where the affordable housing opportunity comes in. Over many years, we have breathed wisdom. But we breathe wisdom without taking this challenge into action. We have done policies over the years from 1992, when the government stopped funding housing. There's nothing else which has been happening. We were writing policies, put them on the shelves, then countries like South Korea, Singapore, they will borrow them and go implement. And today, this challenge is no more we are implementing the challenge into an opportunity. The Affordable Housing Act, which was passed and accented by the President in March, provides a sustainable funding through a levy of 1.5 to the employer and 1.5 to the employee. This fund is specifically safeguarded from all the funds and are set aside as a fund for two things. One, construction of affordable housing. Two, provide funds for mortgages and tenant purchase, and provide funding for institutional housing. And this is where now this opportunity falls for you students. The section on institutional housing is to provide housing for students, accommodation in all our hostels and all our universities, and also provide for police housing. In terms of how it can benefit the students, one, it will provide the shortage of student housing. But at the same time, in all the sectors that we are building housing, it provides opportunities for students to get internship during the time the students are in campuses. It also provides, after college, an internship for you to get a job. It also provides you for permanent job opportunities. The reason why affordable housing and housing sector is an opportunity for job creation is because it has a very long value chain. For every house that is built, it creates 3 direct jobs. The indirect jobs could be going to 8 to 10 number. Direct jobs, there's no single house you can build without an engineer, an architect. If you have to build a house that is not going to last, a house that is adequate, and a house with all the infrastructure facilities. You have electricians, all those people who are in the built environment. And above that, even those people who are not in the built environment, it provides a very long chain of financial experts, real estate agents, those who sell houses, a very long list of value chain. Beyond that, It is also going to create a value chain that brings to manufacturing. These tiles, for example, you are here, we are stepping on. Maybe they have come from somewhere from India. They are being done in cottage industry, very small industry to develop these tiles, bring them here, and this is the opportunity we are having as people in Kenya. We can make these tiles here in Kenya, sell them here, and what we have done to create these industries is we have laying fenced supply of materials, making of windows, balustrade to our local Juakali and MSMEs. We connect also them to the bank, and we are working with the ministry that deals with SMEs. We work together. We link them to the bank where they can be able to get funding. We also link them to the projects whereby they get these contracts with the contractors and they are able to supply and fix. Here in Kisumu, we have one big project. We have a project that we are constructing 2,300 houses in Lumumba. 75% of these materials that are going to be contributed to working will be locally here, made locally, materials which are sourced here in Kisumu. So an injection of 5 billion Kenya shillings, 75% of that will come back here in Kisumu. It will create jobs, it will create a lot of Juakali sector. They will have contracts where they can work on. And this will go on and on. We have set aside 2,000 hostels for students allowed Nyanza. We have selected 188 TTIs and TVCs. And here in Kisumu, we will construct approximately 6,000 student hostels. So the opportunities is there. And also, I know you say you are young to own a home. We are connecting students as they leave campuses. They are looking for homes. Our designs accommodate from a studio to a family unit where you young people can start their life. You can start your life and you can also start your home journey. And it's through an online platform called Bomayang. Star 832#. You start your home journey ownership. You don't have to know anyone. You don't have to call my number. Start saving. And you start your journey to own a home. As you leave school, you only be required to pay a monthly of 2,000 shillings to own a home. And you can pay that for over the years, up to 30 years. Don't worry, if you live Nairobi, or if you live Kisumu to Nairobi, you can move with your house, very simply. You look for a house in Sharumoyo, you have paid 200,000, you have 200,000, you book that house, you return the house from Kisumu, you go and start living in Nairobi, paying the same amount. What an opportunity. Asante.
So, just a quick one on what the blue economy is. Of course, money has been poured to ensure that we don't talk loudly, but tutaendelea. So, Assistant Director, I'll go with you and then I'll go to Dr. Chris later on.
I'm Dr. Chris.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Chris. So, quickly, the blue economy, the opportunities that exist therein, and then you can tell us about this freshwater system. What is it?
Okay.
So, the opportunities for them, and then the freshwater system.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, moderator. Once again, comrades power. Comrades power. Thank you. I'll start off with the question, what is blue economy? I had elaborated earlier on, but I'll give a preview in a few seconds. Blue economy, actually, people say blue economy is new. I keep on wondering, blue economy has been there, activities in blue economy have been there for the long, even before us we were born. But the concept is new. The concept is new as blue economy, but blue economy activities have been there. Now, what we talk about blue economy, here we mean sustainable. The word sustainable, as we are all aware, means continuity, longevity. So it's sustainable utilization of aquatic resources for socio-economic development. Not for any other thing, but for socio-economic development. Now, I will focus on this question on what are the activities, what are the opportunities in blue economy. Now, before I mention opportunities in blue economy, I did indicate that I did some governance diploma and sustainability science, and this one will run across everything. Before we go to opportunity, there is what we call uniqueness. Uniqueness. I always tell I'm also young, I also tell my young colleagues, how different are you from another person? How different are you from another person? And that's what will make you better. That will make you above others. For example, you tell a fellow young colleague that he wants a recommendation letter from you, and know what you do? You tell him to go and write. Now, when he writes the letter, where the sentence is ending, there is no full stop. Where you expect a comma, there is no comma. So I'm asking ourselves, I'm asking also myself, moving forward, be very keen and be very unique, so that you are different from others. When they pick from this pool, they pick you. They don't pick your neighbor. And that's where we start from. Be unique. And we also call it have a third eye. People have 2 eyes, but for you, have 3 eyes. See beyond. Listen to what the person is not saying. And from this aspect, and you take this aspect in mind, there is a lot you learn from the other. But for you to do that, you have to be critical of yourself. Review yourself. Criticize yourself. Learn to criticize yourself so that you can plan better. Now, focusing on the opportunities in the blue economy, they vary a lot. One, I'll start with fish farming. Fish farming can also mean cage culture. And allow me to tell you this, from our state of Department of Fisheries and Blue Economy, since I joined it 15 years ago. Since I joined when I'm still young with the first degree, I know the SG is wondering, 15 years and you look young. I went to school a bit early, and then I did my master's and PhD kufuatana. That's why I've been in a job for 15 years. When I joined the State Department, and even now, even right now, the government will not lack Amradi, a project to support you, especially in blue economy, especially in fish farming, especially in cage aquaculture. So as a young man, when you finish your school, this is an area you can go into. I'm telling you, it's a new concept. In a new concept, meaning we've not been thinking about it, but the current government is reviving it in a way. My colleague will talk about achievements in blue economy, but mine is to talk about opportunities. So the government will always have a Mradi, a project. This project can give you fingerlings. Fingerlings are the young of a fish that you can put in a pond or in a cage. The project can give you feeds as a startup to jumpstart you. So this is an area that you can engage, but you can engage in a group, cooperatives. Like the State Department has evolved what we call the beach management units. Beach management units are groups of fishermen. So these groups of fishermen, 445 of them, the current government has converted them into cooperatives. Now you understand the value of cooperatives. Cooperatives have a higher bargaining power. Like you have a voice. You can bring out your issues and the government will listen to you. So this is an area, so build a cooperative. When you finish school, this is an area you can start cage farming and fish farming. And remember, fish farming will always have demand. There is nowhere in the world where fish will not have demand, anywhere, because it has no side effects. And it's the best white meat ever. One, cage farming or aquaculture. The other one is on post-harvest losses. From our research, 60% of aquatic resources go to waste. Sorry, I told I had some flu, but I think you're listening. 60% of aquatic resources go to waste, what you call post-harvest losses. Now, how do you do it? You need to understand, how do I increase the shelf life of these aquatic resources? For example, you can form a cooperative and you start just buying refrigerators. I'll give you an example. For example, in Puse, we had fish kills in a cage. So the farmers were complaining they don't have where they can store these fish so that they don't rot. So, and you know, you can't get a market quickly, you have to plan. So this is an area that when you come together, you can build up, have these cold facilities or fridges, etc., to undertake preservation or increasing the shelf life of animals or products like fish. Apart from that, there are so many unusable resources in the lake, for example, water hyacinth, hippocras, etc., that people are now transforming it into other uses. For example, Brazil is using water hyacinth to manufacture or to make electricity, etc. There are so many open ways moving forward. The other one is making of nets. I'm telling you, for us like research, if we want a certain type of net in ya kuvua samaki, I'm telling you, we think about importing. But if you come together as a team, you learn net making, you will expand, you will go far. The other issue, I know my time is, I had many issues, but let me make this last one.
I'll give you another.
Okay, thank you.
Round.
The last one. The other one is the use of AI. As you understand, when I joined research, I've learned that there are so many things you learn by yourself or by listening, or you learn by observation than being taught. And that's something I want us to calculate of being unique. Learn more by observation than by being taught. One key thing is AI and programming. The data analysis today, we are doing programming. We are now using AI. Now, the emerging market here, using AI to make graphics. You get some text, you make graphics out of it, and you do what? You advance. Even in publication globally, they are now accepting publications that are advising use of AI in research, in projects, and in whatever. So these are some of things you can learn. Lastly, of course, project opportunities in terms of proposal development. There are so many people who have ideas, but they don't know how to put it together in a proposal and submit. Blue economy being a new concept, this is where an area where so many donors are emerging and they want those proposals to come up. Thank you, moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Daktari. Just quickly, I'd love Director Fitnora to actually just take us through financial inclusion. You are at the Youth Enterprise Development Fund, but you see, for ease, young people just call it Youth Fund. But it's Youth Enterprise, meaning that there are other youth who are not interested in entrepreneurship, right? So you will carry the burden for all financial inclusion. Hustler Fund, Women Enterprise Fund, Youth Enterprise Fund, Ways of Fund, all those funds. We are a country that believes the more the merrier. So you will be talking about exactly why access to credit is important. Now, a lot of times when you come in here, tutaambiwa tu juu ya kuinama na Higher Education Loans Board, and that's where it stops. But then the labor market out there is quite, it's just what it is. So kindly take us through what Youth Fund does. In about, allow us to go to the audience in the next about 10-15 minutes. So if you can make it 3 minutes maximum, so that then I can go back on the other side. There is quite a number of aspects I want to touch on before we go back, open it up on this end.
Comrade Wisdom. Comrade Wisdom. You know, with comradeship, since time immemorial, comradeship is about social change. Comrades are agents of social change, isn't it? And comrades are known for brilliance, for energy, for creativity. I want to appreciate UDA Party for creating this civic engagement for comrades, so that comrades are informed about the better model, the bottom-up transformation agenda, the policies that are there, the projects that the government has, and how all these projects and policies benefit you. And why you see all these senior government officers here is so that they can dissect these policies in a language that comrades understand, to give you an opportunity to engage, air your views, and to also make sure that comrades wanajituma so that they can also benefit. Comrade power. So with comradeship ni kujituma, sindio? And we are here to make sure you have information, because information is power, so that you actively participate in policy making, you actively participate in all the opportunities that the government is offering. And now when it comes to financial inclusion, we have affirmative action programs that the government has set up to benefit young people in economic empowerment. You know, with economic empowerment, once comrades are economically empowered, then they will be socially empowered and they will be politically empowered, and they will contribute positively to national building. So we are here through the affirmative action funds to make sure that we are providing affordable credit facilities for comrades, we are providing training opportunities for comrades, and we are providing mentorship and market linkages so that comrades are able to start businesses or expand the businesses that they have. Just a show of hands, how many comrades have ideas, business ideas here that they would like to actualize? Business ideas that you would like to actualize. How many of you have registered businesses? I can see a good number. How many of you have self-help groups? I can see a very good number. So let me go to Youth Fund. Youth Fund ni hazina ya vijana. Youth Fund is a state agency that was established purposely to support young people to start or expand businesses. As Maliba has said, Youth Enterprise Development Fund, we are there to support young people in enterprise development. So if you have a business idea, you have not actualized because of financial challenges, or you have a business already in existence, but you don't have enough capital to expand it, we are here to support you financially, and we also understand the challenges of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is a very lonely journey. We offer mentorship, we offer training, we work with you all through to make sure that you have a sellable product or service in the market. And for the service or product that you have, we also support you with market linkages. It is also one of our key mandates. So the main mandates of Youth Fund are offering affordable credit facilities. That is the main mandate of Youth Fund. When you look at the products that we offer, for the group loans, I've seen a good number of you who have group loans. Please listen to me carefully. Tunataka pesa mfukoni. For the group loans, you don't need to have collateral. It's just registering your group and having a bank account, because we understand collateral has always been a challenge. And also for the group loans, we don't charge any interest on those loans. If you have taken 100,000, that is the amount that you will repay. Compared to other financial institutions, right now, what is the market rate for interest? The interest rate, it's around 14%. But for group loans, Youth Fund, we give you at 0% interest. and there is no collateral. So all you need is to just register a group and have a bank account. And it is the easiest way for you to enter into the system. And once you repay that first loan, as members, you can guarantee yourselves, and you can now take individual loans at no collateral. You support each other. At some point when I was a comrade at the University of Nairobi, I used to run a cyber. And I never knew about this information. That's why, Maliba, you will allow me to just share briefly, because I know the biggest issue that comrades have is finances. That's the biggest issue. So I would like to share this key information, because information is power. So with that amount, if you want to start a cyber in the institution, you can organize with the administration, get a space, and and we give you funding. If you also want to start a small business like samosa business or kinyozi, you can employ someone in that business and generate some 600 shillings per day, which will help you. Kuinama will be a thing of the past. So in addition to the group loans, we also have individual loans. With individual loans, we give from 100,000 to 2 million for a start. And once you have repaid that amount, it graduates up to 3 times. If you took 500,000, or if you took 200 million, it graduates up to 3 times. That means you will take 6 million, okay? So you can start something with that money. And with the individual loans, you need to have collateral. So if you have something with a title deed, with a logbook for your parent or anyone who can guarantee you, we can support you. We also do AGPO financing. For AGPO, there is a law providing that 30% of all government tenders, including the ones for housing, all government tenders, 30% should be allocated to youth, women, and people with disability. Comrade power. So for those special interest groups, if you get 30%, if you are within that 30% and all comrades are within that 30%, you can go to Huduma Center, apply for AGPO certificate for your business, then you can be pre-qualified in any county office or any national office, and you can be given a tender. Once you have a tender, Youth Fund will be able to finance you. We finance up to 70%, and with 70% you are able to offer that service. Then you will be able to repay the amount later once you are paid. Then we also do asset financing. I'm finishing. With asset financing, we finance up to 70% of the assets that you want to take. If you want to own maybe a van to offer transport, if you want to start a music studio, we will give 70% to the dealer. You come with a pro forma invoice of 30% that you have paid, then we give you the 70% through the dealer, you get the equipment, then you will start repaying. So that is for the loans, and in addition to the loans, we do a lot in terms of training, mentorship, and market linkages. And I believe that through this engagement, we will be able to get some youth who will benefit from Youth Fund. I've come with the county officer for Kisumu. Leonard Ochieng, you can stand up. That's Leonard Ochieng, the county officer for Kisumu. If you need his assistant, the Kisumu office is at Huduma Center, Kisumu. And for the other offices in Nyanza, most of them we are stationed at the county commissioner's office. So you can go there, you can get assisted. And I want to encourage you, please take advantage of these affirmative action funds that the government is offering. All of them, they are best. They are the best in the market compared to the fintech companies and the banks that are giving. We have Hustler Fund, we have Uwezo Fund, we have NGAF. You told me to talk about financial inclusion. Yes, so we have all these affirmative action funds, and you can still get more information online. There are so many opportunities for you to start a business so that you are able to be empowered to create a job for yourself and even employ other people. Sawa sawa.
Thank you. I think she's done so well. She's done well. She's reminded us of that we've got the 30% AGPO. That is a program that we should also be bringing you actually up to speed on that. She's also gone further and even done the work of BRS, the Business Registration Service. Thank you so much for doing that. You are fluent in the language called Comrade. You are very fluent in that. Quickly, I'd love Mr. Samson to just tell us about what your state department does. Actually, the achievements, not what you do. He's already spoken about it, because a lot of times we have got these meetings and people talk about what they do. They don't talk about achievements. I'd really love, these comrades would love to hear what you guys have done and the opportunities that emanate from what you have done. In 3 minutes, then I would love Professor Machuki to come back and talk about the social health authority, the social health insurance fund, because that's another place where politicians have decided to just go with sloganeering and cheap lines. You pick two things and run with it. So, Samson, please.
Thank you, Comrades Power. I want to say that as a State Department for Blue Economy and Fisheries, one thing that we have done is to bring on board the youths in the blue economy space. One is that through the government of Kenya and working closely with the TVETs, an example is Ramogi Institute of Advanced Technology. We have our youth going to Israel to get more advanced skills in fish farming and aquaculture development. This is a program that is initiated to beef up the better economic model. When this particular young tax comes back home, then they are supported with startups, and this one has made them to change. I have an example, one by the name Kennedy, who recently came from Israel and is doing serious business in cage farming in Suba South. Secondly, as a State Department, we are trying to have an enabling environment for blue economy growth. As the regional coordinator for blue economy, I want to proudly say that we are hosting Kenya Bus Services under Globology, where they are recruiting young marine engineers who are doing boat building, providing transport solution in Lake Victoria. And a number of you have boarded water buses in Lake Victoria. This one is an initiative of the Kenyan government, and we are fully supporting this. Recently, I was talking with the managing director of water bus services under Globology. They are lacking marine engineers. And you find that under the blue economy strategy, we are working closely with universities and TVET institutions so that we come up with high skills in marine engineering. So this is an area which is underutilized, and we want to beef up on this. Secondly, as a government, to expand the blue economy space, Kenyan government has signed memorandum of understanding with many coastal states under what we call Port State Measures Agreement. Recently, the Kenyan government has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Canadian government. I want to tell you that under the same, we are enjoying what we call the Women in Blue Economy Enterprise Challenge Fund. Through this kind of initiative, we have young organizations. We have Rio Fish Farm and Lakers who have benefited from 56 million Kenya shillings, which was awarded to them. And I think these particular checks were given to them by His Excellency the government, the President of the Republic of Kenya. If you go to where these particular organizations are doing their business, one is in Suba South, in a place known as Nyandiwa. You will find what young people are doing in terms of the blue economy skills they have got. We are continuing to do training. Currently, we have trained 875 young youths as seafarers. And who are seafarers? You find before, We have those people who are doing fishing in the EEZ, in the Indian Ocean. They were putting up flags from other countries. Proudly, Kenya is currently putting a flag in the EEZ. And we have insisted as a government that the people who are working on board these particular vessels are Kenyans and the youth. So we are currently going on to bring on board more youths from universities, from colleges, with skills in blue economy, so that we continue with them as seafarers. Before, we did not have Kenyan seafarers. They were coming from outside Kenya. We have signed memorandum of understanding with Australia, and I'm proudly saying that our minister for mining, blue economy, maritime affairs, His Excellency Hassan Joe, and our principal secretary, Madam Betsy Njagi, next week are going to Australia over the same, so that we can have the young youths in Blue Economy Initiative brought on board inside, so that what they learn here is also taken there, and what they learn from there is also brought back to our country. So these are the grounds in which we are going to support the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, so that we continue building up and opening up our blue space. I deliberately came with a very young officer who was just employed recently, last year. Petronella, just stand up. This young officer is a dedicated officer in Nyanza and Western Kenya region on blue space. Any person who wants to have ideas on blue economy initiative is just a phone call throughout. Through her efforts, we documented young women and young men in blue economy. And from that document, in fact, Rio Fish Farm and Lakers benefited from the 56 million each, which was given by the government of Canada. So these are some of the few things that the Kenyan government is doing under the basic, the better transformation agenda. Recently, we saw the building of landing sites which are modernized. These modernized landing sites, one is in Mulukoba, supporting the youths in fishing. Because as one of my colleagues said, that post-harvest losses is a major threat to our fishing industry and the blue economy space. If you go to Mulukoba today, you will find those particular youths producing ice and selling this ice to women entrepreneurs. That is just one of the ways in which they are generating their income. The government has supported that at a cost of 140 million. You come to Luanda Kotieno, the same. You come to Sori in Migori, we have built that. A total cost of around 400 million, doing the same thing. And we have marked also to do additional 9 at a cost of 1.5 billion. And this is money which is ready. Thank you. And if I will have time, I will continue to say more. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, to end this session, not that you not have a chance to talk, whatever the other aspects you actually had to talk about, you bring them when you are responding to questions. I'd love Professor Machuki to talk about the social health, the sheep and the sha. You hear a lot of she, sha, and then we are in Nyanza, so she and sha, so sheep and sha. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, moderator, for this opportunity. One of the things that I will want to highlight as I delve into universal health coverage is the ideology and the rationale behind the bottom-up economic transformative agenda. The principles of better are in priority form. One is lowering the cost of living and ensuring inclusive growth. But in between ensuring inclusive growth and lowering the cost of living, therein is another 3 priorities on ending unemployment, that is now employment creation, enhancing the revenue base, dealing with foreign exchange imbalance, and bringing on board mechanisms to deal with food security, that is ending hunger. When you look at those priorities, it was thought that we need to deal with these issues very urgently. And the question was, what kind of areas that will bring out very quick turnaround? During the economic forums, it was very clear that there are sectors where interventions will bring very quick turnaround. And those are the sectors that form the pillars of the plan. And one of the pillars of the plan is on agricultural transformation. And you've heard there are several value chains in there. The second one is micro, small, and medium enterprises. From the discussions here, I wanted to interject and indicate to youth that an opportunity that arises and that is there given to you is, one, over and above having an idea, it is important to operationalize this idea through a business plan. And I want to be very clear that having money doesn't buy you thinking. Having money doesn't buy you brains. It is about looking at the problems in society, identifying opportunities, and converting these opportunities into ideas that you package into a business plan, a very simple one, that you can know how much resources you need and how do you utilize these resources to operationalize this idea as a micro enterprise, as a small enterprise, growing into a medium and large enterprise. So these catalytic funds that have been provided by government, moving you away from predatory funding, is to empower young people who have ideas. Ideas are most important than their finances. You can have finances, but if there is no idea to operationalize, deal with a problem, and create more jobs, then funding only cannot solve a problem. But I'm happy that we are dealing with a critical mass of ideas here, because we are university students where brains are at action. And that is where the entire value chain from what has been said in the blue economy, it's actually on micro, small, and medium enterprises. The third pillar in the plan is digital superhighway and the creative economy. All of us have an appreciation that we are moving from the old manual and archaic jobs. So we have internet that has revolutionized the way we work. And the government has created opportunity by establishing digital hubs in almost every constituency in Kenya. And that is where online jobs are, and the artificial intelligence that our colleague was talking about, and how you can turn several of these issues into opportunities are in digital space. The fourth pillar in the plan is affordable housing. My colleague here has talked about, and the other one is universal health coverage. Now, in universal health coverage, it is very clear that a health nation will be an economically and socially empowered nation. That is one. Two, combine health and education, then you will have a suburb a society. So an educated society, a healthy society, will realize the socio-economic priorities, and they will participate. As young people, The issue of health, and as a former lecturer in the university here and a director, many of the students will come to our university clinic and we refer them to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital. On arrival, they will say that the services there do not match the kind of expectation. But then, how did the government conceptualize universal health coverage? As a universal thinker, as a universal person in a university, in a college, universal health coverage means access to quality and affordable health care provision. That is what it means. So, in analysis over time, there has been problems and challenges on various areas on healthcare system in Kenya. And I'm saying this from an understanding of all of us that healthcare is devolved. Allow me then to take you through what the universal health coverage is all about. Then I will explain where SHA, SHE, and all these others come in. The key principles that guided the thinking behind universal health coverage, and as a bottom-up orientation and in terms of solidarity and comradeship, healthcare, we want to have access to efficient healthcare, and we want to have healthcare system that is accountable, but also that respects human rights. Those are the principles around universal health coverage. Now, what were the issues that we were dealing with when we were analyzing the healthcare system in Kenya? One, financing. When you look at financing at both the primary healthcare provision, there is a gap. Primary healthcare is supposed to be the government funding that particular level of offer. And what do we mean by primary healthcare? Primary healthcare is what is offered at level 1. That is the dispensaries at the very local level. But when you go to those dispensaries, you find the infrastructure is dilapidated, the facilities are not able to anchor the quality of care that is expected. And that is why the government then, through universal health coverage, passed a law, because we have 4 laws that have been passed to anchor universal health coverage. It passed the first law called Primary Health Care Act. And what does it do? Let me take you through what that law allows government to do. And it is all about ensuring that at the level of health facilities that are level 1, the Primary Health Care Act provides a framework for access to quality health care at the very lower levels. And that is where you have the primary care networks that have been created. And recently, government launched what we call voluntary or community health promoters. These are people who go through our households and take note of our health situation at household level, and then they refer. That is fully government funded between level 1 and level 3. You will understand that county governments are also involved, so there is working with the national government and the county levels. So, dealing with human resource at that level, dealing with facilities at that level, then you can assure quality health care access. And that is what the first act, that is the Primary Health Care Act, intended to deal with. The second legislation is what is called the Social Health Insurance Act. And this is where the she comes in. Now, all of us know that we have been having a challenge of insurance with regard to the cover that is being offered by the now defunct National Health Insurance Fund. Within that whole architect were issues with governance, were issues with claims management. And it is this particular act that has now created the Social Health Authority to replace the National Health Insurance Fund. And in the Social Health Authority, you have a number of funds in there. One of the funds in there is the Primary Health Care Fund. The Primary Health Care Fund is provided and fully funded by government, and that takes care of level 1, level 2, and level 3. Now, there is the Social Health Insurance Fund. Now, I hope now you understand where SHIV comes in. Social Health Authority is the one that is managing these 3 funds. The first fund is the Primary Health Care Fund. And that fund is from the government's taxes that they collect. The government collects taxes, and it funds all these services at level 1, level 2, and level 3. Now, when you are referred from level 3 to level 4, SHIV sets in, and this is contributory now. This is what has been contributed to National Health Insurance Fund, NHIF. Now, it is replaced by Social Health Insurance Fund, called SHIV. How has it been structured? Previously, it is only through formal, those who are in formal employment that contribute to NHIF. But SHIV comes in to look at those both in the formal economy and those in the informal economy. And those in the informal economy who now need to contribute 2.75 of their income, that income is determined by the means testing instrument through household economic ability. And household economic ability, as I said earlier, is available in the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, and that is where those are provided. There are those who do not have anything at all, and they are called indigents. The indigents, government pays for them. The rest then contribute 2.75% of their gross income, and that is contributory, and it will now levelize, and it will have bring about equity, and it will have a broader pool from where this is going to come from. Now, there is the third fund called the Emergency Critical Care Fund, and this is where for the critical illnesses. And as you are referred for those who have critical illnesses to level 6, government funds that fully. So I needed to explain that we are now moving from individual contributors to household contribution. And I think this needs to be very clear. It is household. As you register, and as households register, it is going to be, instead of you who is unemployment, and I am here as your younger sibling, and there is a parent, now it is going to be household-based. When it is household-based, it therefore means that when you register, you bring on board your dependents into your contribution, and all of them will get access when they visit a health facility. For the other fund, it is government, and it is accessible when you graduate to that level when you have critical illness. Now, the other act is now Digital Health Act. We realized that in NHIF, claims are manufactured when you have human beings in the system. So we completely had to do away with the human intervention so that we digitize claims processing, claims management, and claims approval and all that. In there is the risk management framework. In there is the governance issue that we needed to deal with. And as I said earlier, when a moderator, I know you are looking at me, this is very important because it is very motive, right? It is very motive. As Kenyans register and get on board to consume services from SHA, it should be very important, as I said earlier, that we do not want as many Kenyans who have been suffering from lack of NHIF to provide the kind of funding to take care of their cases when there is contribution. Now, this one is dealing with those cases of corruption and so forth, and therefore, Digital Health Act. The last one, so that I finish, you find that facilities at lower levels, at county levels, will collect user fee. And this user fee is redirected to do the gates, to do the cable roads and so forth, and they don't improve the facilities themselves. So, the Facilities Improvement Financing Act makes sure that user funds that are collected are ring-fenced for the improvement of the facilities themselves. That way, you are assured of quality, you are assured of accessible, you are assured of affordable healthcare provision. So, in a nutshell, SHIF is contributory, and it has a broad base, and it is by household. And it is for those who are in the informal sector, through means testing instrument and the packages that are on offer, then you are able to have them contribute, but also have them to access. So that is where SHIF comes in, and it will standardize for everyone. It is this way. If you are going to a facility in KNH, KNH, for example, the principal secretary will access the same services as you, who is at the bottom of the pyramid. That is what is called universal health coverage. I think I want to stop there for purposes of time, because it is a very emotive and very extensive. Thank you.
Sansa. Thank you. So we have allowed him to actually take you through, so that if your local politician who has not read this comes into a funeral and then he tries to trash that easily, unamwambia unajua. Sio umeenda shule? Unajua hizi vitu tunakaa chini. It has taken a professor kujaribu kureduce hivyo, na bado kumbuka tujamaliza. Alafu kuna mkora huko kwa kijiji anakuja anakuambia hii kitu ni mbaya, alafu mnasema semeni mbaya. That's not how policy conversations are supposed to be had. Comrades, power. Najua energy imerudi chini kidogo, so nitasema comrades, transact. Hatuko mbali sana. So, as in, tukuwe na matumaini. Hello. Tuko sawa? So, ningependa tuulize maswali, lakini kwa sababu ya muda, ningependa huku nipate maswali matatu. Meanwhile, you get the mic kutoka hapo kwingine. Microphone kidogo, tuko na challenge. Hapa tutapata maswali matatu for a start. Hapa matatu na pale matatu, si ndio? And then nitakuja nichukue mengine. This is the rule. Nataka tusikize. Give me your silence. Nataka tusikize. Make one question alone. Usiulize maswali mawili. Tafadhali. Because kuna watu wengine, si ndio? I said, even if you paid fees and you don't pay attention, you don't pass your exams. So please pay attention so that then I don't cut you off air. Sawa. Ask one question, make it brief. If you're making a comment, make it in 2 minutes maximum. Make it brief and sweet. Sawa. Let it be in line with what we are discussing. I need to repeat, let it be in line with what we are discussing or issues that pertain comrades. So I'm saying that as I wait for microphones to go around. Ushers, where do I begin? And as we do that, I just need to make very brief introductions, not just kujua tu kuwa kuna niliona chairman wa Kisumu hapa, the venerable Patrick Mbuta ama alienda. Nimeona hapa coordinator wa South Nyanza, Kennedy Odiek, mheshimiwa. Alafu iko watu wa Nyamira na Kisii hapa. Unajua hapo ni lazima nikuweke hapo kwa sababu treasurer anatoka huko. Otherwise tunaweza kosa kwenda home. So, treasurer, Mheshimiwa Nyakundi, just say hi. Tuko na yeye hapa. They will actually have a time to actually speak to us. So, let's go.
Thank you for that opportunity.
Your name, the institution, and your question.
Okay, my name is Dan Siwa from Maseno University, from Chia County. So, we are here discussing about issues that affect comrades. And we have one thing that affects comrades, and it's a thorn in the flesh. And it's about comrades' power and comrades' leadership in our various institutions. So for a very long time, in the recent past, comrades' power is diminishing. The reason being is because the election process or the election system has been changed from a universal suffrage system to delegate system. And this one has cost us because it leads to election of soy boys and mama's boys that can't represent comrades' affairs with vigor and the courage that it takes. So, being that we are the ruling party, UDA is the ruling party, and we are part of that party, our humble request is to our MPs that the election system in our various institutions should be reviewed so that comrades will have leaders that will be able to represent them in various forums. For instance, in our previous engagement with His Excellency, Mr. President, during the NFM, we had various leaders representing us there at the State House. So we have some our leaders who could not even address the issues pertaining to the NFM. So we would like that the election system should be reviewed and be restored back to the universal suffrage so that we have strong leaders. Thank you.
Fair enough, fair enough. I think that SG and the Honorable Nyakundi will take that particular question because it's about legislation and a little bit of politics. Yeah.
Comrades power. So my name is Tolo Jeff. I'm a fourth year student studying.
Jeff, just before you proceed, unajua umesema comrade power iko chini sana.
Comrades power. Comrades power. Kwa sawa sasa?
Yeah.
Okay, so my name is Tolo Jeff. I am a fourth year student pursuing political science at Maseno University. And I just want to direct my question directly to the issue about the new funding model. I think, in my own understanding, there have been a lot of controversies and a lot of discussions going around the whole thing. And I'd really like to thank the ministry for, constituting the work stream that also includes students to, make recommendations and revisions concerning the same. But now the biggest problem that we are having there is that I think the assumption that the government uses here, even before I come to that, we are in a capitalist society, as one of the moderators has just said. And given that we're in a capitalist society, we know very well that in a capitalist society, we have also appreciated our place as a developing country. So, and I think the assumption that is being brought by the government is that everyone is rich until proven poor. But yet the reality is that everyone is poor until proven rich. Comrades power. Now, my point is this, concerning the new funding model, we're talking about the bottom-up economic transformation agenda in an era where public participation is very important. And to that extent, the problem that I think this current regime is that you develop ideas first and then struggle to explain it to Kenyans later. I think it should be that ideas should be originally, they should be originating from Kenyans before now it goes to the government. And that is the reason as to why most of us are not even understanding the Adani takeover of the JKIA terminals. Most of us are not understanding how the chief is operating. Most of us are not understanding. Most of us are not understanding the housing policy. And it all begins with policy formulation. I'm a policy analyst, and that's why I'm speaking from a point of knowledge. Because you look at the housing policy, for example, what you have given us here is the process of how good it is, pay the 1.5%, sijui nini story mingi. But again, remember we are talking to comrades, people who are living in hostels here. Some of them are suffering, they cannot even pay the rents because help, haija reflect wa portal. So I think the question should be, and the conversation should be, let us talk and let us reflect to things that really touch on the people that we are having here. Let us have live audiences and let us have live interactions. People power, people power. Comrades, viva!
Viva! Thank you very much. Clap for Jeff. I'd love to go back to the other end, kindly. Extreme on the other side. We only have got one mic. We will do that, don't worry, we will talk. The one thing we are not afraid of is actually to have these conversations. We know that UDA, for example, even as the mic moves, had 47 county fora to come up with a bottom-up economic plan.
Comrade power!
We are hearing.
Oh, you are hearing?
Yes.
Yes, comrade power! Comrade power! Madam Ria! Yes, my name is Riga Nojua. Oyule, handsome boy. I have a question. I'm from Maseno University, Matadia, pursuing special needs, and I'm the one in charge of persons with disability in Maseno University. And when I'm here, I want to represent my people, and I have a question concerning the PWDs. First of all, I just want to ask, how is the government ensuring that the PWDs doesn't differ the way I've seen some of them differing? What are some of the things that you put in place to ensure that they land smoothly? Another concern, why is it that I want to know, because in the national government, the persons representing the persons with disability, you find that sometimes they are not disabled. So, I wish that the persons representing these people, they should be also able differently. And another one, I wish that we could have a sign language interpreter to interpret, because maybe you never know someone is having a hearing impairment. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Very valid concerns. The other guy there at the extreme, here. That guy there. Okay. Please stand up quickly.
Comrades power. Hello everyone. My name is Brian Haemba. I have a question for the panelists and our guests. Karibuni sana. Welcome to Kisumu. This is the home of we like championing reforms, and my question is this. First, before I submit my question, I have 3 submissions. First is an acknowledgement, and then a question, and then a recommendation. First, I would like to acknowledge His Excellency President Ruto on his achievement on the 2024 presidential green industrialization investment statements of the year. And that gives me a question. The president is pushing something wonderful, yeah, out there in the world. But we are here today and we've not heard about carbon credits. We've not heard on the new the climate financing model he's proposing. We are not aware about it. We would like to get more clarity on that as well, at least. And then the kudos for you guys. These public participation is a good thing. This is something that all Kenyans love. Participatory democracy. This is what we want in matters of pushing policy. So my proposal is this, yeah? We have higher learning institutions represented here. And there are issues that doesn't need investment from private investors or just ordinary citizens. It needs a direction from the government. Like things like funding on research and development, things, how can we facilitate higher learning institutions to boost that? And then on the startup ecosystem as well, we have a cap on the amount of money we can receive from foreign investors. It's, I think, $1 million if you guys can verify. But does that limit in terms of innovation, what we can attract in terms of innovation? Like when you see other universities like MIT, they do a lot of funding on their research, they do a lot of exchange programs. How can you also push on this thing?
Thank you.
And then lastly, on the recommendation, we have the African Free Continental Trade Agreement. And how do we also, when you're talking about like accessing other foreign markets, these are the free areas for trading and all that. We have a backlog also on the importation and policies and insurance. How do you make that so that we remove barriers for trade and all that? So that we can empower young people in terms of jobs and also skill development. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A comrade shall be fair so that we allow others to also talk. Sawa sawa. Comrades power. Aya, nataka huku nyuma. Kindly. Can I get that guy talking? Please stand up. Get him a mic, please. This guy here. Here. For ushers, please look at me when I'm giving direction so that it's much easier. Kindly. We can't hear you. Yeah, it's been so much of men. I need ladies. God bless you. Meanwhile, as they fix that, just wait, I'll be back to you. As they fix that, let me get a lady here.
Comrades power. Comrades Ria. Thank you for this opportunity to represent my Gen Z ladies. Oh, okay. Gen Z ladies and comrades in general. I had my senior there talking about housing levy. I had a question about it. You said that this thing will bring permanent jobs. And so I have a question. How is it bringing a permanent job and this is just building a structure, a house? And again, you said that, let's say, for example, in Kisumu, we will be having 6,000 houses. How many Gen Zs are here? Now, how are you quarter? How will this 6,000 housing help the millions of Gen Zs, let's say, in Kisumu? And this permanent job, let's say someone is doing social work. How will this affect the social worker positively in permanent? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm looking for another lady. Another lady. A lady. You are not. Omera Bwana, you're not a lady.
Comrades power. Comrades power. Okay, to the moderators, the comment I want to make about here is you people are talking about the project. You people, the fish, I don't know if it was about the fish what. You are trying to tell us how it works. You are not telling us how we should vendor onto it. On the housing levy, you are saying that it will help our comrade. How? We are living in hostels, others are renting outside. How will you help us get into the housing levy and how will you identify we are comrades? Okay, secondly, on the housing levy still, the project in the government is different to the project on the ground. The project in the government, you are saying you are building houses to help people. But when you come outside, you find that the project is initiated and it's also being paid for. Why?
Okay, thank you. Any other lady so that we balance out? Okay, I've seen one. Tunakuja. Comrades power. Tumpatie space tafadhali aongee.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Waverly a second-year student from Maseno. I'm pursuing international relations and diplomacy. My question is this: as a beneficiary of the new funding model, and it has been vividly described in a quote as well, but why do you negate the fact of the amount of student loans that have been come out of the university? Once I complete my degree, once I start working, the amount of money that is going to be deducted in my pay slip is why is it that in the old funding model, the amount of student loan that the corporate used to come out of school with was not that much? But currently, I will have to pay a lot, yet even the services in the university are not up to standard that as compared to the amount of money that is being deducted in my school.
Thank you very much. Kindly get me that microphone. I'd love those questions to be responded to and then run one more round.
Thank you. Comrades power. Comrades power. Comrades Ruto. Comrades Ruto. Comrades Ruto. Comrades Transact. Comrades Transact. Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Nyakundi, Member of Parliament for Kisumu Gen Z, and I'm also the President of the UDA. There's someone by the name of Dan, I think so, who asked on the review on the elections for universities. He wants the university to go for the electoral system than the delegate system.
I want to fully agree with him that if other elections go for the electoral system, even the universities, I want to support them that the university should also go for the electoral system so that the students can choose the leaders that they want. For the electoral system, it has a lot of manipulation in it, but the electoral system, the students will be able to choose the leaders that they want. So I will take it up from there, and very soon I'll bring it in Parliament, and wherever you are, make sure you support me. Number two, it goes to Jeff. Jeff, he was a university who's studying policy and stuff. I want to agree with you that as a government, the UDA government, led by President William Ruto, we agree that we brought a lot of changes and a lot of policies that is to the benefit of the people of Kenya and to the benefit of Kenyans. And I want to agree that the change of policies has not been so smooth, more especially because we came up with the housing levy, we came up with the university funding model, we came up with she and shiv. We've come up with a lot of things. I want to agree with you, and I want to agree with the comrades today so much, and I want to appreciate you because when we had the challenge with the university funding model, you accepted to sit down and talk about it, and now the president listened to you, and you created a team that is going to look on the university funding model. And I believe this is to the benefit of the university students, and I believe that with you sitting down together with government, we are able to look onto this matter and make sure that the students are able to get the money that is required for their studies in school. So I want to agree with you
that we came up with a lot of policies which are good, but what we did not do, we did not have proper and good communication so that we're able to carry the citizens along with us. But we've gone back and agreed that we are going to do such kind of public participation so that we are able to move together as a nation. Lastly, I want to tell all the comrades that we as the UDA party, we are going to do these forums. We started doing these forums because we wanted to make sure that leadership and governance is implemented from the university level. People like Hassan Omar, who is here, he was a Secretary General. He was a student leader like you people. The chairperson of the UDA party, our able chairperson, Cecil Barire, who is the governor for Embu, was a student leader. And that is the reason we have come here today to make sure that we've mentored you, we've assisted you, because we know that you are the leaders of today and not the leaders of tomorrow. Some of you who are inside here are going to be members of parliament. Most of you who are here are going to be CEOs, are going to be governors, are going to be senators, are going to be people of respect in this society. That is the reason we have started this mentorship program, and we are running across the country to make sure that we bring as many young people as possible to the mentorship school. And the UDA party is also starting, we're also building a leadership and governance school to assist such kind of people like you. So, comrades power! Comrades power! So, kutoka hapa tuna transact, sidio? Hakuna kuinama, sidio? Hello? Hello? Kutoka hapa transact! 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 Thank you so much. I give it up to Professor Machuki.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Japhet Nyakundi, for that explanation. I will want to pick from where he has left and probably just give a highlight why the student leadership in universities was informed by the Universities Act 2012 as amended 2016. This amendment came on board to deal with a number of things. However, as it has been raised, it is a matter that is of legislative in nature, and therefore I will only be able to address an aspect there so that comrades can be able to understand. The intention by our lawmakers, Honorable Nyakundi, may have been informed by the shortcomings and the inadequacies in the old electoral framework that was in universities. One, it was found out that it was addressing the issue of students who vie for positions in universities, and they are there and they do not have concern for their academic progression. Secondly, there was a lot of, let me say, the Kenyan politics was for a long time bedeviled with tribalism. That was being entrenched in the universities, and it wasn't a good thing. Secondly, there was a lot of discrimination in terms of who gets to be elected. In the amendment that was brought to Parliament in 2016, it changed that, and in the current the framework, you are submitting yourself for election as a team and not as individuals. So, in terms of gender representation, the chairman and the vice chair should be of different gender. Then, in that team, the composition from different counties. no two individuals in that team should come from the same county. Then your academic progress, you should not be having a supplementary, neither should you be deferring. And your academic record should be clean. The third thing is about persons living with a disability. And it entrenched international student representation in that team. The only thing, Honorable Nyakundi, that you are going to deal with is abuse of that particular framework. Abuse. Comrades are raising issues that the university management are getting in there to interfere and propel those who are dancing to their tune. And that is where there is an issue. But otherwise, when you look at the ideals that informed that particular amendment, it was trying to entrench patriotism, representation, gender, and academic prowess in the universities. That is what it tried to entrench. But as it is, we have our better plan with very good aspirations, very good priorities, very good programs and policies. But as we all are aware, we are operating in a context that is very complex, dynamic, and somehow some of the very good intentions in the plan may find a context that is convoluted and therefore may not realize the intent. Let me then go to the issue about idea generation and why we need to engage everyone. Honorable Nyakundi here has addressed that issue. But let me start from where bottom-up economic transformation agenda started. The bottom-up economic transformation agenda never started from boardrooms. It never started from ivory towers. It started from engaging everybody at the bottom of the economic pyramid through different county economic fora. So ideas in the better plan were actually an amalgamation of issues raised by the citizens. That is one. Two, to operationalize, like for example, Kenyans, more especially the hustlers, the young people, told us during the economic forum that we are slaves. We are slaves to predatory lenders who charge exorbitant interest rates. And we listened. Kenyans told us that our university education is becoming compromised because universities are closing down, they are under debt, and the quality is being compromised. Kenyans said that. And so many other things. Now, when those issues were synthesized, put together in a plan to now implement and operationalize them, they require a policy framework, a legislative framework. And in the process of developing that policy, the law provides for public participation. Some of the policies that have come on are very progressive, very prudent in terms of the focus and the ideas. However, as Mheshimiwa said, and even Our Excellency, the President, pointed out the aspect of dissemination communication so that everybody understands the implications of these policies and also is brought on board for purposes of support and buy-in for effective, efficient, and successful implementation. That is why, among the avenues through which this policy dissemination and the clarification is through these comrade chapter town hall meetings, so that you are able to have an understanding. And the moment you have this understanding, please be our ambassadors, be the government's ambassadors to get these particular policies into place. The new university funding was implemented with the 2022 KCSE group, and there was never an issue that was raised during that implementation. We have a student here who is in second year and is on the new university funding model. It is during the 2023 KCSE students that one or two issues were brought on board. And because those very many issues have been advanced, and His Excellency the President himself has also listened, and there is a committee that is dealing with them. And as I said earlier, one of the things that was never done, and as you criticize the new funding model and all that, is actually to bring on board an empirical comparison of the old or the differentiated unit cost model and the new funding model. And therefore, those are the issues that the committee should be looking at, and based on data, it will be important that that can be addressed and the gaps can be closed and we move forward. But one thing we have to appreciate, moderator, is that on implementation of the new funding model, universities are coming out of their financial crisis. That is a fact that we have to appreciate. Now, there is a gentleman who talked about the president's global agitation for climate action agenda. The president's concern, and through his policy with regard to dealing with the climate action, is actually at very advanced stages. One, to deal with the global financing architecture, and that has been well communicated. But now, on the ground, there is a lot that is happening with regard to implementing that particular aspect, and probably it is about communication and the policies and the actions, key among them, the 15 billion tree planting and so forth. Those are some of the aspects that the president is advancing both at the global scale and the local scale, and is on course. And because of time, I probably would wish that all of us who are here using the power of the digital space, please go to the UDA Party website, SG. I believe the better plan is in there. Download it. Read it line by line. And then you will be able to realize that the intent carried in that plan is one of those that has never been seen in this country before. And if it is well interpreted and implemented, we will move this country from where it is to the desired state of affairs into the future, and that is the strategic intent of His Excellency the President. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. They have been patient with us. Aman Kagami, they have been patient with us. Let's also do that. And I think that once we come to this debate, somebody has sent me a question on Nigeria Digital. You can also just do that. Also mention Nigeria Digital as a program when they still on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Why pay levy and get a house through purchase? Was that a question?
Okay. The question was, why you pay tax and then you buy a house? A very good question. And here lies the answer. Number one, the reason why party
60% of the people living in our area, Kenya, are living in houses which are formal and slums. The Affordable Housing Act was created to create a path in order to create capital that is used for the purposes of development of affordable housing and aggregation infrastructure. House is not enough. House without water, without electricity, without other social infrastructure that goes with housing, like what we are up here, social homes, community centers, schools, and health centers. The purpose of this part is to develop long-term integrated housing for our community. When it comes to the housing, the fund will provide long-term loans with low interest rates. This will enable individuals to buy the houses at lower interest rates. The current interest rate for a house, if you walk to the bank, it will ask you for 18%. The 18% will be accompanied with other charges. And cumulatively, this will go to almost 22-24%. This one is completely unfair. If you purchase a house of 1 million, for example, by the time you finish paying the house, in 10, 15 years, the cost of that unit we will have more multiplied more than 6 times in 15 years. If you pay in another period, 5 to 10 years, it will almost double. That's why in Kenya, the number of people with mortgages for houses in a population of over 50 million is only around 27,000, barely even 30,000. That means people have shied away from going to purchase the houses. And also, in our urban areas, the number of people who owns houses is also less than 20%. And again, as I've said, most of the people are living in areas where houses are informal with no adequate infrastructure. The purpose of providing physical and social infra is for one reason. Yes, the house you purchase, but the associated social infrastructure you will not purchase. There is a school that has been constructed, a social hall, a hospital. That provision is not put in the budget to your house. When the house is being put by a developer, he puts a swimming pool, he puts a social hall or a clubhouse. That cost is paid by the homeowner. And for this fund to be sustainable, because you cannot create a fund that is not sustainable, it has to be paid by people so that the next generation of people can also access to buy a house. And simply put, if you have the money, you can buy cash. If you don't have the money, you pay your 10%, get it to the house, start paying your normal rent. Start paying your normal rent at a very low level. So the price of house currently has gone down from the known price. For example, in Kisumu, houses may cost around 4, 5, 6 million. Currently, we have a house below 1 million. A house with all the facilities built together. When I come to the issue of jobs, because the house does not only involve construction. construction that is just the direct job. That an engineer has been employed, a plumber has been employed, and is working in that construction site. The affordable housing program goes beyond that. It has a huge number of value chain of indirect jobs. How do I say this? It's upon the young people who are very industrious, for example, that you have started your curry farm, for example. You are working as a welder. You only make 1, 2, 3 windows, maybe in a month. You have projects across the country. And I've given one example of a project here in Kisumu, in Lumumba Estate. We are constructing 2,300 units. That's approximately a 5 billion job. 500 million of that project will be direct opportunities for working with MSMEs to supply doors and windows. This is a very big opportunity. The other opportunities, people who are more industrious also, they can see this opportunity in Kenya. They can be able to make other items like hinges. One of the most simplest items to make in the industry of construction is a hedge. But imagine you have to go to China to import hedges. If you multiply building 100 houses and a house has 3 doors, and every door has 4 or 3 hedges, you can see the magnitude of the level of the opportunities provided. Then there's management of these estates. There is management of the tenant purchase jobs. The indirect jobs in these areas are so more. They cut across the financial sector. They cut across the building sector, everywhere, including environmental experts and social experts. The jobs are enormous. And that's why I say the direct jobs are 3 on approximate, and they can total to 8, and creating more and more jobs in the value chain of the industry sector. Going to cement industries, going to building materials like stone, it's enormous, guys. It's an opportunity. Here in Kisumu, the projects that are in the pipeline, I say there are 6,000 units, but in every city in Kenya, we are planning to do 100,000 units. We have 5 cities in Kenya. In Kisumu, there are other jobs on the pipeline. In terms of student hostels, we are working to construct hostels for students. We are starting with 1,600 hostels here in Kisumu. We will do 2,000 units in Kisii. Maseno University, we are doing 2,000 units. And all of them, the budget is there. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you very much, moderator. You requested that I talk about the Ajira Digital, and this is actually a project, an online job website or portal that is under the Ministry of ICT. Now, comrades, you can actually register and be trained on the online jobs through this Ajira Digital. It is on, and all what you need to do is to register. So the program is actually ongoing. And there are so many people who have actually registered. Again, you can also register through the National Employment Authority website, the one that I mentioned. And if you're not able to register through that website, you can visit our offices that are across the country. And when you're in Kisumu, you can actually visit our office at Aki House, that is opposite Central Police Station, and you'll be assisted by the officers in that office. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to respond to Paul, who raised a very genuine concern about policies and projects being done without public participation. Then now we come and share the information with you later. So I know we've not been having a structured way for public participation, and currently the Attorney General has drafted a public participation which is still in the drafting stage, and she has called for memorandum submission. I know that, comrades, you are well organized, you have structures. I'm requesting that you prepare a memorandum and submit it to the AG on how best we can make public participation responsive, youth sensitive. Comrade here said about PWD. I've seen public participation, it doesn't usually have consideration for people with disability or youth. It is usually very generalized and there is no feedback mechanism. So I think this is the right time for you to submit a memorandum about the public participation bill and how you would like public participation to be effective. The deadline for submission is on 30th of this month, so there is still time to organize yourselves and submit a memorandum on the public participation bill. Then also just a highlight on all these sectors about financial inclusion. Across all these sectors, Youth Fund is there to fund any young person who has an idea. We want to monetize that idea. So if you have any idea across all these sectors, we have some youths who are doing fish caging. We have youths who are doing aquaculture here in Kisumu. And I've been discussing with Leonard, the youths that we've already funded in this financial year. So if you have any idea, don't shy away. Come to our Youth Fund office. We will help you to monetize that idea. We will help you on business plan development, and we will help you, we will work with you in all that journey. Then also with affordable housing, we have the AGPO. Please, we have LPO financing. I believe that still under the housing sector, there is the 30% threshold. So please, also take advantage of that opportunity so that we can give you LPO financing. And lastly, on labor export, which has also been heavily discussed here, we also support young people who want to go and work abroad. We finance everything. We do pre-departure training and we finance you all the documentation for you to go and work abroad. Of course, the main priority by the government is to make sure we are creating jobs locally. But we cannot lock out a young person who wants to go and work abroad to explore other opportunities that are well paying. As Youth Fund, we are here to also finance labor exports. If you got an opportunity, please also reach out to the Youth Fund office. On social media, we are very active. You can get some more information on our products and how you can access them.
and exchange was announcement of the universities were from the US. Now, the criteria used from the universities development. Government, and it's up to you now to do what to implement. Good examples of facilitation, sorry, I have some flu. Good facilitation is agreement and MOU signing. I think my colleague talked about that. That the government will facilitate you through that so that you can acquire what you don't have. The other one is on partnering, and then the other one is on capacity building, and then skills development. So here we are giving you examples of this that the government is doing as a facilitator to allow you to acquire this and even to improve your research and development within the universities. So these are key aspects that we have to take up even at your level as an individual, yourself in terms of development. Thank you.
On what we have done as a government, and but not being told on how you are supposed to also be engaged. What I also reiterate is that as a government, under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, it is addressing and bringing on board the people from the ground. And that is why we always categorically say that we bank on bankable skills from the youth, especially from university and colleges. This is the model that is being used in South Africa, where we have bankable ideas that from the youth. Currently, I want to say that in the from we have the process to guide institutions so that we place. I came with Bure. Bure is a specialist in bioeconomy and climate change actions, so that very much is biology or water bus. In fact,